So, are we in for a housing crash like we saw in 2008, 2009? The short answer is we don't think so, hopefully. So, the caveat that all the economists and all the experts are, of course, saying is that really it depends on how quickly that we get through this pandemic. That's something that nobody has a crystal ball about for sure. And how quickly that we come to the other side on the housing side and the economic side depends on obviously how quickly that we get through the health piece of this. So there are a few important kind of fact distinctions between now and 2008, 2009 that are important to consider that are positive for us now. So for one, people just are not in the same mortgage situation that they were back then. So for one, there was lots of subprime lending, a lot of irresponsible borrowing, both on mortgages and also people borrowing against their homes. People had borrowed a lot against the equity of their homes, which obviously put them in a tough position when the market crashed. The situation now is a lot healthier. So the mortgage lenders and the banks learned a lot through that crisis, and there isn't the same level of lending irresponsibly that there was back then. People also have a lot more equity in their homes, and they also aren't borrowing against that equity at the same rates that they were in 2005, 2006, 2007. So that's all good news. Also, just in general, the economy was cranking along. So it wasn't what's going on now was not a result of the economy completely overstretching itself and then snapping back. This is a self-imposed government lockdown. So it's the government that has put the cuffs on the economy, if you will. And while we know that it won't recover necessarily super quickly, we also expect it to recover. And the same amount of jobs that we had before is unlikely, but there are lots of industries that are going to be hiring back, and that will ramp back up. Dentists and hair salons and things like that, whereas cruise ships and airlines will most likely take longer. So we were at record lows for unemployment. Obviously, now we're at record highs. A lot of those people will be reemployed when we're out of this lockdown. So that's good news. The other thing is that we are in a completely different inventory situation for houses than we were going into 2008. So when we were going into 2008, we had a huge surplus of homes. We say that a balanced market is around 5 to 6 months of inventory. We were at 13 going into the housing crash. So builders had been building lots of new construction, and nationally there was a big surplus. Now, nationally, we're at 3 months of inventory. So again, if a balanced market is at 5 to 6, we were at 13 going into 2008. We're now at 3. So we have a lot less houses than we have buyers. In the North Shore of Massachusetts, we generally run well under 2 months of inventory. So we're even more extreme. So there's definitely been a pullback in the market, undeniably. There are way less home sales. There are way less sellers out there. There are way less buyers. And the difference is that the ratio hasn't necessarily changed. So while there's been a pullback, it's been a relatively even pullback. And even if possibly more buyers have stepped out because of job insecurity or unemployment, the disparity already going into the pandemic between how many more buyers that there were for properties that there was to sell was so extreme that even with some of the buyers pulling out, we're still in an imbalance of more buyers to more sellers. So we haven't seen an impact in the market on prices, days to offer. The properties are still seeing multiple offers as well. Pullback of the market for sure. Pendulum swing we haven't seen. So hopefully we do expect sales to be down for the year, even with third and fourth quarter helping us to recover some of that. We don't think that we'll make up for the horrible quarter that Q2 will be for home sales. But we also do expect that prices will stay steady. We don't expect necessarily a drop in prices. And even if there are a few more foreclosures and short sales, which are probably inevitable considering hopefully it's not any more than can be absorbed by the market with the number of buyers that there are outpacing the number of sellers. So that's that. Hopefully it's all good news and it stays that way. We'll obviously be watching what's going on in the economy and watching really carefully what's going on with home prices and inventory and all of that to keep tracking that. Thank you.